Have you ever wondered where stuff comes from? Like those shoes you're wearing. Where were they made? Or how about that coffee? Or the paper you write on? Well, they probably came from another country and traveled a long way to get here. See, countries depend on each other to trade goods, and the easiest way to transport them is by ship. When other countries send us goods, they're called imports. When we send goods to them, they're called exports. Now, goods can be anything people might want to buy. Inside these containers, companies sell us things made in other countries, like computers, paper, cars, even fruits and vegetables we can't grow here. By the time these ships reach our harbor, they've come a long way. Thousands of miles across the ocean from places like Europe, South America, and Africa. Once they get here, our job begins. We are the South Carolina Ports Authority, and this is where we work.
Ports are really big places, and everybody that works on the port has a different part to play. Every job is like a different instrument that all comes together to make something happen.
It takes hundreds of us working around the clock to load and unload these ships and to make sure their cargo gets to where it's going. Now, here's how we do it. See this ship? Once it comes into our harbor, it needs help finding its way to a parking spot or terminal. So the first thing we do is send one of our own pilots out to meet it. He's called a harbor pilot. His job is to climb aboard that ship and park it himself. But getting up there can be a little tricky.
Well, there's a rope ladder, and you're out in the ocean, and there's waves, and sometimes it's raining, and sometimes it's dark. But he jumps from the boat onto that rope ladder and climbs up the side of the ship. And he hopes that the guy that tied that ladder off is really good at tying knots. It's something that takes a lot of practice and a lot of expertise.
Once the ship gets close to the terminal, the tugboat captain takes over. Because these ships are so big, they can't turn easily, so the captain uses his tugboat to give them a little nudge.
I've been doing this for 22 years. My grandfather worked on tugboats, my father worked on tugboats, and it's just in the blood.
Now that it's in place, workers up on the dock, called longshoremen, secure the ship with ropes. Meanwhile, way up there, the crane operator gets ready for the fun part. His job is to pull the containers out of the ship and place them onto trucks below.
It's eye-hand coordination, so it involves a lot of being able to think ahead of time what's going to happen, as well as be able to keep your eye on your surroundings.
It's kind of like a video game. See those controls? Those help him position his crane directly over the container so he can grab it. But if he's off by even 6 inches, they won't connect. Down below, longshoremen make sure the container is attached to the truck before sending it on to a big lot called the yard. That's where a driver comes to take this cargo on the final leg of its journey. Today, he's transporting bananas from South America. His job is to deliver them to grocery stores, where they will be unpacked, put on display, and ready to sell. All this creates what's called economic impact. More cargo at the port means more jobs, and more jobs mean our economy stays afloat. But the port faces a challenge. Today's ships are getting bigger and bigger. Some now are so large they can carry 18,000 containers at a time. But that extra cargo makes a ship heavier, pushing more of it below water. This is fine in the ocean, but not all harbors and ports are deep enough for them to get through. So we're digging out the sea floor to give these big ships room to come in. This process, called dredging, will take years to finish, but it's very important because if ships can't come into our harbor, they might go to other ports and take our jobs with them. So as we look to the future, we understand that South Carolina depends on us because the Ports Authority is a gateway to a world of possibilities. And it's our job, our commitment, to bring that world to you.